Hi and welcome back to another video of jPlay. I am Marcus, and before I do my playthrough of Arkham Horror the 3rd edition, I decided to do basically a one episode of Lift Off, the latest game by Glück Spiele. Awesome theme. I tried it a couple of times, really a quick one, so I think I should be able to play through an entire session in one video, and yeah, let's see how things go.
Okay, and that's a setup for a 3-player game. I decided to do this as a 3-player game because there's a lot of drafting in this game. It works really well in a 2-player game as well, so don't get me wrong, really enjoyable. But it's still kind of cooler to play this with 3 or 4 players. 4 could take too long, so yes, I took the sweet spot in between, and yeah, we'll play this game in a 3-player mode. The players are various space administrations like the NASA or the ESA, but I think there are no real references to any real-life organizations in play. And we really try to bring the most payload into space in order to score victory points. We do that pretty much in 2 phases. The first phase is this one here, and when we run out of those specialist cards, this will trigger the end of the first phase. Then we do some preparations, and then we play it all over again through this full pile of specialists until we have completed the second phase. Then we do some kind of final scoring, and then whoever has the most amount of victory points is the most successful nation, and yeah, is storming into the stars and yeah, ruling them all and whatnot. As part of the preparations, each of the player drew 3 of those end of game scoring cards. Then there was some drafting in place, so whatever, first you keep 1, then you put 2 to the player to your left, and do this all over again once more with 1 card. And in the end, each of the players still ended up with 3 of those cards, which gives you some kind of a direction for the game. And this really helps in this case. I think I will show you the game and scoring cards for 1 player, maybe here for red, but I will keep the others hidden. But a little disclaimer though, I'm not sure if I will play through the full game. Maybe I will walk you through the full first phase, and then I will fast forward to the end of the game to whatever, show you the end of game scoring or so. Really depends on how well I do and how long it takes. Hope this is fine for you. Maybe I will split it over 2 episodes. Let's see how things go. Before I get started, I really want to share a little opinion with you folks, because I totally love the artwork and the style of this game. This was the first thing that drew me into this game, and then it happened to be a very enjoyable experience. So basically perfect match, to be honest, but I think you will learn that anytime soon now. But I think without further ado, let's get started. Red is the starting player. Let's have a look at his end of game scoring cards first. This one means you want to have as many of yellow equipment cards as possible. If you get 3 by the end of the game, you score 3 points, 7 plus you gain 25 points, and the yellow resources or technologies are those batteries. And again, adorable artwork. This one here more or less tells you want to have missions from difficulty level 1 and 3 in space. If you get 6 to 8, you have 10 victory points. If you get 9 plus, then you get 20 victory points. But you have to have at least 1 mission or 1 stage 3 mission card in this combination here. And this one is pretty much the same, but here only the missions from the stage 4 count. If you do 1, you get 5 points, which is already not too bad, but you definitely want 2 or 3 plus in order to score more points as possible. But this also means you have to prep your rocket or your laboratory accordingly. Speaking of labs, we all start with a level 1 laboratory here. It tells you how many launches you get, but this doesn't really change from lab to lab. It also tells you what missions you are able to launch. In this case, it's only level 1 missions apparently. And it also tells us how many victory points we get for each of those launches. So in phase 2, that's only 2 more points, but really when you come to phase 2, you should have really upgraded your laboratory by then in order to really be able to do more of the fancy missions. And yeah, that's pretty much the lab. We also have this rocket here, though this tells us basically how many cash we have to pay for each launch. This can go up and down apparently. This tells us how much payload our rocket can carry. Right now that's only 1 ton. It's not a lot, but it's enough for those level 1 missions. And this is the basically the income we get from round to round. This is something that we skip in the first round of the game apparently. And that's pretty much it in respect to our player stuff. And again, now let's get started. Let's have a look at the 3 specialist cards we got as part of the setup here. And I do apologize, I only have the German version of the game. I think right now there is only a German version. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I will try to translate on the fly as much as I can. Most of the stuff is clear. The iconography is pretty okay, I guess, but some of those things doesn't make sense. So here we have the commander of the astronaut commander. Here we have a scientist or an explorer kind of thing, and here we have an external consultant. Before we go into the actual action phase, we do another drafting. So again, the starting player now gets to choose if he wants to draft left or right. This can change from round to round, and you basically draft twice. So first of all, you draft 2 cards to the left or to the right, and then with your 3 cards again, you can do that with 1 more card. Pretty much like we did that for those end of game scoring cards. I think Red wants to keep the external consultant for now, so he will pass those 2 cards and doesn't really care. He will simply move it to the player on his left. In this case it's the right, so I'm doing it a little bit differently, but nevertheless he will move it to him. Again, he will keep the consultant. Yellow will keep this card and will move 2 to the blue player. Again, I will do all those other players' actions basically off camera to give you at least some level of surprise or so. But blue keeps this card for now. Now we do this all over again, but in this case we only draft 1 more card to the basically player on his or her left. That's a real important one, the mission specialist here, because this allows me to get some tech, and without tech I will not be able to launch anything into space. For those level 1 missions, that's pretty easy. You need a red, a yellow or a blue tag. For the level 2 we need 2 missions, and level 3 and level 4 missions are right now not yet available. This is something that's only doable basically during phase 2 of the game. So yeah, I think I will totally hold on to those 2 cards. This communist robot will move to the yellow player. All the other players did their stuff, and this is the card I ended up from the blue player. And wow, that's a cool one. That's a capitalist robot. It's not too bad actually, because this is one of those cards that has a one-time effect. Immediately when you play it, you score 5 victory points. That's pretty much insane, but it seems blue had some other plans. And again, I do apologize if I will play one or maybe all of the players very poorly, because it's really tough to play this game thinking for 3 different players. Again, I want to show you how this game plays and not how to play it well. And then we will play some actual specialists. We always play 2 cards in a given round and keep 1 for the next round, and then we draw up to 3 cards and do this all over again until we play through the phase 1. And I think, that's now interesting. I think I really need some stuff, some equipment. So I will start playing this mission specialist here. First of all, I look if there is a blue banner or a yellow banner. This blue banner, this means there's something immediately happens. In this case, it's simple. I get 300,000 space bucks. Definitely not a bad start. And money can get tight in this game, rest assured. Now I get to choose if I want to do 1 or 2 or any order of those, or if I don't want to play this card at all. If I don't play, let's say, the effect on this card, in this case I can buy up to 2, or I have to buy 2 different technologies from blue, yellow or red. Oh, and I can basically buy a green card. Green cards are cool, I need them later, but they also score me 3 victory points by the end of the game. So it's overall not a bad thing. Of course, I also have to remember my end of game scoring cards here, and I get victory points for all yellow technologies. So I think in this case I will play this card, because if I'm not using one of those effects, I simply get $2. So nothing is lost in this game, and this will happen sooner or later. So I think first of all I want to buy 2 different technologies. So I will spend $6. So I have to buy 2 different technologies from those. So those $2 I get to keep, and I will totally go for yellow, the battery one, and get the artwork, and I get one of those I think it's rocket fuel red technologies in this case. Red don't score me any victory points by the end of the game, but I really need red technologies later on in order to be able to fulfill those level 2 missions. Not an immediate concern, but something to consider for later. This card gets discarded, and then yellow is next. And he plays the engine engineer here. Again, we can buy 2 different technologies for $6. We can also buy an engine upgrade for $2. Engine upgrades are always cool because they make your launches, let's say, less expensive. And we have a yellow banner in this case, and this tells us that we get an extra launch this round, so we can launch 2 rockets, and the second launch is also 2 credits cheaper. And this also means I can basically ignore the first launch and simply go for the bonus launch here, so then this would only cost me $3 instead of the 5. Because this is my current price I have to pay, or my current cost I have to pay or cover in order to launch my missile or my rocket. And I think yellow wants to go for both options here. First of all, we start with 2 different technologies in this case. And I think we will also go for yellow and red. So this costs us $6 in total. Definitely expensive. And I think we also want to go for one of those engine upgrades here. This is so cool, really nicely done. We have to pay another $2. This allows me to place my first upgrade here, and I think I can do it like this. I cannot quite remember, but I think you get the idea. And this icon tells me that the cost to launch my rocket just went down by $100,000. Not a bad thing. The problem is I'm down to only 200,000 space bucks in this case, and in theory I need 400,000 in order to launch my missile, or my rocket. But I have this card, and this card stays in front of me because it has an ongoing effect in this case, and this makes my launch 200,000 credits cheaper, which is definitely a good thing. So in this case I could afford it, but I would still play a second card, or yellow will play a second card, so I think we should be able to get some more credits sooner or later. Blue plays the administrator. He also has an ongoing effect for this round, at least for this launch, and this basically tells us we get to draw 1 extra mission when we go into the mission step of this round, and we also are allowed to keep an extra mission. That's really a good thing. And I can upgrade my laboratory, so from 1 to 2. This costs us 500,000 credits, and we can also buy 1 technology. So let's go with the easy one first in this case. So I will spend 400,000 credits for a red technology, rocket fuel in this case. And I think, why not? Let's spend 500,000 more credits to upgrade our laboratory to level 2. Definitely cool. So now we get 6 victory points for each launch during phase 1. And yeah, we can basically try to cover level 2 missions. But this also means that we would have to upgrade our weight limitation here by 1, because all of those level 2 missions have or weigh 2 tons instead of only 1. But we are now pretty broke, so we have to think about something. But Blue should have a plan in order to get his rocket into space. Then it's back to red, and I think he wants to play the capitalist robot. So let's play it, let's have a look at it. The immediate effect is pretty simple. We score 5 victory points, easy as that. Then I get to sell one of my technologies for $600,000. That's not a bad thing, and I can do those in any order, by the way. So I could first of all sell 1 technology in order to invest into the space station here. This is intriguing, to be honest, do that. I still need to make sure I have enough money for my launch, so I need $500,000, but I should be good. But on the other hand, I don't want to lose those technologies. I need red technologies sooner or later anyway, so I think for now, no, let's don't do that. So red decides not to use any of those abilities from this card, so therefore he simply gets 200,000 credits. Yellow plays the communist robot. Also, he scores 5 victory points. So he's in the lead. Hooray. And by the way, All of the players started at different starting victory points, basically depending on their turn order. So the first player starts with 2, then 4, and then 6. But she still gets to decide if she wants $2 alone or $200,000 alone, or if she wants to take $600,000. But all the other players then also get $200,000. And why not? Why not? I feel like sharing today. So yeah, yellow will use the ability here. So she will get 600,000 credits, more than enough to launch her mission. But all of the other players get 200,000 as well. And then we can also simply discard this card. Then it's blue, and I think he plays the politician here. So there's an immediate effect. He gets 300,000 credits. Those are both awesome. So I can buy up to 2 of those yellow cards. If I buy 2 for $700,000, that's 6 victory points by the end of the game. It's really huge. And I can invest into the space station. But it's the first round of the game, and I really need money. So I think I will not play this card. So therefore, blue gets 200,000 extra credits. And then we come to the mission part of the game round. So the first player is still red, and he decides which of those mission piles he wants to draw missions from. Apparently we are at phase 1, so we can only get 1 and 2. His lab is only a level 1 level 1 laboratory, so I think he will not go for this 2 stack here. So I think in this case he will simply get for 3 of those level 1 mission, and he gets to keep 1 of those, which is shown here on the game board. So here are 3 missions. So he can go for a treasure hunt. This scores 3 victory points and 4,000 or 400,000 immediate dollars. Not bad. He can build a space telescope, and this gives him 2 victory points, and he can upgrade his laboratory from basically level 1 to level 2. That's pretty amazing, to be honest. And the communication satellite here gives him 3 victory points, and he gets 1 of his engine upgrades. But I think in this case that's really a great one. No, he will keep this telescope, so he will discard the others, and then he will place his new mission at the basically still at the space station. So there are 2 stages, so missions can be here or up there. Here they are in space, here they are still not yet started. And of course the idea is to launch those missions, or to bring the equipment up into space, and then we are allowed to trigger the effect. Okay, the telescope was pretty amazing for the red player. Let's see what yellow gets. As he only also has a level 1 laboratory, he will also go for level 1 missions. And he will go for the water detector here. This gives him 2 victory points, and he can increase his income. This is pretty amazing, especially early in the game, rest assured. And then it's still blue. Blue, in theory, has a level 2 laboratory, but the problem is he has not yet upgraded basically the capacity of his rocket. So his rocket only can take up to 1 ton, and all of those level 2 missions are or require a capacity of 2 tons. So he will also go for level 1 missions. But because he chose the administrator early, he will now be allowed to draw 4 missions and keep 2 of those. That's pretty neat. And blue chose to go also for one of those water detectors and efficiency increase or improvement. And this scores him 3 points, and he gets 1 red card. Doesn't really sound great, but again, he has a plan. Now he can also get rid of his administrator here, doesn't need him anymore, and now we can launch our mission. Again, we start with a starting player. He only has 1 mission, so he will totally launch that mission now. First of all, well, there are a lot of things you have to check. First of all, you need to be able to pay for the launch for this mission, and you have to have a mission apparently. So he has a level 1 mission, he has a level 1 laboratory, so he's fine. He can launch that mission. Next, he needs to be able to pay for it. That's also not a problem. He needs to spend 500,000 credits, which he just did. And then we have to check if he has enough technology in order to bring the mission into space. He has a red and a yellow card, but for level 1 mission you only need red, yellow, or a blue card in this case, so he's totally fine. You don't have to spend the technology, you simply have to have them. And the last thing that you need to check is the weight. Level 1 missions always require a capacity of 1 ton. You always start the game with 1 ton, so he's totally fine. So in this case, he can launch this mission now. How cool is that? So mission is up here, delivered, awesome. So we get now some victory points. First of all, because of our level 1 laboratory, he scores 4 victory points for that. The mission brings him 2 more, which means in total he will score 6 more victory points. Not too shabby. And then we can still get the benefit of the telescope, which allows him to upgrade his laboratory to a level 2 laboratory. So he gets more victory points, but I think this is something that happens after we scored our points for the launch. But he can also now take level 2 missions, but of course we still have to increase our capacity here. But that was pretty much the launch step for the red player. Let's do the same for the yellow player. She wants to launch her water detector mission here. Again, we do all the checks. Weight is not a problem. She has money, that's not a problem. She also has the technology, pretty much a red one here, which we need, or a yellow one, doesn't really matter for this level 1 mission. She needs to pay 400,000 credits, but because of her engineer, she gets a discount of $200,000. So she only needs to spend $200,000 for this launch, at least for this round. Next round, she may not have this engineer with her, but still we can launch our mission here. We get 4 points here, 2 points here. That's also 6 more points for yellow, which means she goes to 15 points if I'm not mistaken. And on top of this, we can increase our income, which is something we get each given round, which is really huge. So yellow will score 600,000 credits at the start of each round. Neat. Then we have blue, and in theory he could bring both of those payloads up. Problem is his rocket cannot carry 200,000 tons. So, but this is something that he can take care of the next round or so. He has to spend 500,000 credits because he doesn't have any discounts whatsoever. And I think he will also go for this water detector here. So the thing is, he will now score 8 points because he already upgraded his lab before. So that's 6 plus 2. So he gets right in the middle between yellow and red to 14 points. But he can also get the benefit of the water detector. So his income will also increase to 600,000 each round. Yeah, those were basically all of the missions. So we do some cleanup. So unfortunately, yellow has to fire her engineer in this case, but maybe gets her back. We keep all our missions. The starting player goes to the next player. Again, I will play counterclockwise, so yellow will be the starting player this round, and then each of us gets 2 new specialists. Again, we start with 3, and of course we must not forget our income. Red only gets 500,000 credits, but all of the other players gets 600,000. Because yellow is the starting player, she can decide in which direction we are drafting this round. And why not? Let's draft the other way around here. So she will hand 2 cards to red player, red to blue, and so on. And I think I will do this drafting now really off camera. And those were the cards the red player ended up with. We have basically a specialist for your capacity. So for your, I don't know, for your room. We have another external consultant. And we have the communist robot again. So what cards do we want to play? But I think, of course, yellow needs to go first. And I think yellow plays the research leader here. And she gets the level upgrade of her laboratory. And she can buy up to 3 cards, which is great. So we will start down here. So she will spend 200,000 credits for another red technology here. And then she will spend 500,000 credits to upgrade her laboratory also to level 2. And her special ability here, she gets 1 extra ton of capacity for this missions phase. So that's definitely not bad. So she could really go for a level 2 mission now, which definitely pay out much better than the level 1 missions apparently. Red plays the capacity specialist here, and I think he will spend 600,000 credits in total to get pretty much 2 upgrades. Let's start with this capacity upgrade here. So this brings his capacity up to 2 tons, but this also means his launch just got more expensive. But because he also bought the engine upgrade here, he can pretty much bring those costs down again. And he also gets an extra 2 tons this round, so he can bring up to 4 tons of capacity. This is really, really insane. Let's see if we can use it. And I think red wants to do the same, I guess. So he will also go for this capacity specialist. He will also spend 600,000 credits. So he does pretty much the same. He gets 1 here, 1 upgrade here. This one brings this one up, and this one brings this one down. And he also has a temporary capacity increasement by 2 this round. Not so sure if he can use it, but that's really something he can also use for the next round or so. Back to yellow, she will play the astronaut commander here, so this gives her a second launch, which can be good, and no, it cannot. But she will not use the ability here, so therefore she scores 200,000 credits. And of course the cost for this extra launch goes down, so we can use it for our standard launch as well. But yeah, overall I think she has a plan. Then it's blue. He will play the explorer here, so he gets 300,000 immediately. He will not use the ability here, so he gets 200,000 more. And that's pretty much the end of the action phase. Now we get back to the mission phase. But no, of course, red also gets to play a second card, and who? It's the external consultant again, or the communist robot. And I think in this case I feel selfish, to be honest. So he will play the communist robot. This gives him 5 immediate victory points, and I think he will not use this effect here. He will simply collect $2 on his own, but of course he will score the 5 points anyway. And now we come to the mission phase. Yellow will go first, again 3 cards, and I think because of her increased capacity she will go for a level 2 mission now. So she will draw 3 of those, and she decided to keep the discovery fleet or exploration fleet here. This gives her 4 points, and as an immediate effect she can draw 5 missions and keep 1 of those. That can be useful for her. Unfortunately, blue didn't have the right equipment, so he was not able to go for a level 2 cards. I was not thinking straight here, so he had to go for a level 2 mission right now, and the only card that he could go for was this treasure hunt here. And that's because you can only have each mission only once in your tableau. There are some exceptions, but then it's really clearly mentioned on the card. In this case he already had the efficiency improvement and he had the water research card in front of me, so he was not able to get another card. So this is definitely not the greatest card in the world, but yeah, he can definitely use it anyway. And blue also has to draw from the level 1 mission pile, unfortunately. So we have first satellites here. Here he gets a red card, but it doesn't really help him. And here he can pretty much exchange 1 card for the other card. So he could use yellow cards. The problem is they're all not great. So I think in this case, yeah, he will go for first satellites here. That's kind of lame, so let's discard those, and then we launch those missions. Yellow will go first, and she will launch her exploration fleet here. She needs to spend $200,000 because of the commander here, so that's cool. She gets an extra weight, which is the reason why she can launch this mission in the first place. She has the technologies in place, so she has 2 red technologies here. So just as a reminder, for level 2 missions you need 2 red cards. This will change in phase 2, by the way. You see that here in this little bracket. So as of phase 2, this level 2 missions cost you 3, or you need to have 3 red technologies and 1 yellow tech. Now let's also launch this mission here. So she will score 4 points here, 6 points here. That's 10 points total. So definitely a giant leap. Get the reference. And she gets to draw 5 cards from a deck of her choice. And I think in this case she will draw 5 cards from this level 1. And I think these are all that are left here. And she will choose 1 of those. And she decided to go for this first satellites mission. Again, that's 6 more victory points. Then it's red. Let's see. He will launch 2 missions because his capacity is 4 in this round. So really not a problem for him. He has to pay 500,000 credits, unfortunately. That has a combined weight of 2, so he can launch all 2 of those missions up there. So therefore he will score 6 points here, 3 points here, 3 points here. So in total 12 victory points. That's pretty good. 2 and 10. So he's now in the lead. And on top of this, he will get 1 red card here, 1 red technology, and of course $400,000, which he can really use in his next round. Awesome. Okay, this was... No, it was not again. I keep forgetting. The red player, he has 2 tons more. He cannot use those. That's really a bummer, but he still wants to launch anyway. So he will pay 500,000 credits total to launch this mission up there. In total, he will also score 12 more victory points. So he will go from 18 to 30 victory points in total. Hooray! And around, we will move the starting player mark to the blue player. We will deal out new cards and also give the income to the players. Blue will start to draft this round again. He will go basically the other way around. Those are the 3 cards, but this is again something I will do off camera now. Okay, blue goes first and he will play the capitalist robot. So first of all, he will score 5 victory points. So he's in the lead again. Hooray! And then he will invest. And he hears a slight groan or from the yellow player, but we will come to that in a second. So first of all, he will now spend 400,000 credits, and that's pretty much printed here on the investment track here. So the first player to go here needs to pay 400,000, 500,000 credits. In a 3-player game, those 2 slots are occupied. So he spent his 400,000 credits. He will place a rocket here. Now he gets 5 victory points plus 1 victory point for each of his missions that are already in space. Right now he has 3 missions in space. So in total, he just scored 8 victory points in total. Not too shabby. And next, he can choose to go for a green card here. I think that's astronaut food, again worth 3 victory points, or he can also increase his income, and I think this is what he wants to do. So as of the next round, he will score 700,000 credits each round. Then we can discard this card. He will not sell any of his cards now. Then it's red, and I think he wants to play the research leader here. And so he has 1 more capacity this round, but he will pay 200,000 credits now in order to buy 1 red card. Remember, he needs 2 of those red cards in order to launch a level 2 mission. Overall, he's not too concerned about level 2 missions, but still they grant you some benefit, so he will think about it anyway. So he still needs to pay 200,000 credits. He keeps this card in front of him, and then it's yellow, and yellow plays the consultant here, the external consultant. So her launches, so she get extra launches, maybe something I forgot, to be honest, stupid me, but nevertheless I cannot take it back. But she will spend 400,000 credits. This gives her an engine room upgrade. She really needs that. So this goes up, and I think she will not go for this upgrade here to level 3 laboratory, the $700,000, and then but she couldn't afford the launch, so no, she will not. Second card, blue will play the administrator, so he gets an extra draw, which is not bad. So he will now spend 400,000 credits here in order to get an extra red card. Not that important right now, but it will sooner or later. And he will also not go for the extra upgrade, but of course he will hold on to this card because it gives him an extra mission. Red will play the planning leader or controller, I don't know. Gives him an extra mission. He will not use the ability, so therefore he will get 200,000 credits. He really needs cash, but he can hold on to this card as well. And last but not least, it's yellow. She plays the politician here, so therefore she will get 300,000 credits immediately, and she will also invest, I think, but this now costs her 500,000 credits. This is why she was cursing at the blue player, but she can still just afford it. So she will now get 7 victory points because she only has 2 completed missions. But she will choose to go for a green technology instead of the extra income. Again, that's 3 more victory points by the end of the game, but yeah, she can use it. Let's draw some missions. I will do this phase now totally off camera. I will show you the missions apparently. And yeah, Blue will go first and he will draw 4 red missions, so he gets a bonus one and he gets to keep 2 of those. Overall, not too bad. And he found 2 amazing cards now. This is the supply ship. Gets a blue card, and the fuel tank gives him 2 extra points for each red card he has by the end of the game. Sounds cool, right? Red took those 2 level 2 missions, so this is a probe deployment that gives him 2 income increase. It's awesome. And the capacity optimization, which gives you 1 more capacity upgrade pretty much. So basically 2 really helpful technologies. And Yellow decided to go with a level 1 mission here, the communication satellite. Just gives her 1 additional engine increase. That's not a bad thing. And yeah, 3 more victory points. Okay, let's launch those missions. I think Blue will launch this mission. He has a capacity of 2, so he's totally fine. He can bring those up, and you really need some table space for all of those missions. He still needs to spend 500,000 credits, which he has. So he gets 5 points here, 6 points here, so 11 points in total. Wow, that's huge. Not sure if I'm doing this right or if I missed something. And he still gets 1 extra blue technology, something we need later in the game for sure. Then it's Red. In theory, he has 1 extra capacity, but this is not good enough. Those are 4 tons in total, which is really a bummer. So yeah, I think he will go for this one here first. So he needs to spend 500,000 credits. So this probe deployment goes up. That's 4 points, 10 points for Red, reaching 40 points in total. And of course his income will increase twice. Then it's Yellow, and I think she will go for this communication satellite. She also needs to spend 500,000 credits. No, she can bring up both. Awesome. She has 2 tons she can carry now. Awesome stuff. So that's 9 points plus 6, 50 points for Yellow. Not too shabby, to be honest. Awesome. So that's 42, 47. Okay, so now Red is behind. Interesting, but Yellow still gets 1 extra engine optimization, which means her cost goes down by $100,000. But I forgot, she got an extra launch for 200,000 less. She didn't use her normal launch, so she gets $200,000 back. I nearly forgot that. Last round in the first phase, so we do the drafting again. Red is the starting player. For his first card, Blue will play the leader of planning here, so he gets an extra card, and I think he will spend 400,000 credits in order to buy a red card. And no, in fact he decides to go for a yellow card. Keep in mind he scores extra points for yellow card at the end of the game. Yellow will play the astronaut intern, so she gets an extra ton or capacity this round, and she gets, for every level 1 mission she has in space, 2 victory points and $1. So she has 3 level 1 missions, so that's 6 points and $3. Definitely good for her. But the other players get 1 point each for each of their level 1 missions they have in space. Blue, that's 3, and Red, that's 2. And well, that's a pretty close call. 1, 2, and 1, 2, 3. And by the way, those tiles that you see up there, those are some bonus tiles which you can basically use in order to really build your space station. This is totally optional. It doesn't have any game effects whatsoever, but in case you really want to build a space station when you take the investment action, you can do so. Blue will play the mission specialist, so he gets $300,000 in total. Then he will go for this option here. So he will spend $600,000 in order to buy 2 different technologies. So he will go for a red one and a yellow one. In this case, he needs yellow for later mission stages. Second card for Red, he will play the Nutty Professor here. So again, she gets an extra card, and he can now swap up to 2 times cards. And I think this is what he wants to do actually. So he will give back one of those red things here and will take a yellow card for it, because this will score him victory points at the end of the game. Yeah, that was his second card. Yellow will also play the Nutty Professor, so she gets an extra card, but she will not use this one here. So she simply will collect 200,000 credits. Wow, she's really swimming in money. And then finally it's Blue. Blue will play the External Consultant. He will not use it. He will simply collect 200,000 credits for him. And yeah, he gets an extra launch. Maybe he can use it. Red was able to draw 2 extra cards and keep 2 extra cards. So he went for level 1 mission. So the Treasure Hunt, the Communications Alert, and the Cartography for Planets. Again, he has to take different cards. Yellow also drew from level 1. She could keep 2 cards. So we have the Cartography and the Efficiency Improvement. And Blue went for this level 2 mission here, the Probe Deployment, which gives him 2 extra income. Let's launch some missions. He has 2 tons, so he will move the Communication Satellite and the Treasure Hunt up here. That's 500,000 credits he needs to pay. He gets 3 plus 3 plus 6, so 12 points for red. So let's dab and dab. So he's in the lead, just in the lead, but this will change soon. And on top of this, he gets 400,000 credits and he can upgrade his engine, so it gets cheaper to launch missions into space. Yeah. Then it's crap here. It's Yellow. She will spend 400,000 credits to launch those 2 missions up there. And there is a limit. You can have 7 missions from each level. It's all you can have. So that's 7 points here plus 6. That's 13 points for Yellow. So 3 and 66. Okay, wow, amazing. Then she starts with this bonus here. So she gets 1 extra red technology, and then she can basically do a trade. She can choose one of her and she will trade the card she just got, so a red card, and now she gets a blue and a yellow card in return. So compared to the others, she is diversifying. Maybe this is related to her end goal card or one of her end goal cards, who knows. Then it's Blue. He will launch this mission here for 500,000 credits in total. This gives him 10 more points, so he goes to 63 victory points in total. And on top of this, he has maxed out his income. Amazing! Again, I forgot he had the consultant, so he gets $200,000 back. Unfortunately, he was not able to launch a second mission. This would have been huge, but he was really out of money. Pity. End of phase 1, we move into phase 2. Though those 2 missions are now available, and mission 2s are more expensive, or not really expensive, but more difficult to launch. But most of the players, no, not most, it's only Blue who is able to launch a level 2 mission right now, but the others do not really care too much about this. They still have one though, but that's something we have to take care of. We will reshuffle all of those specialists, and then we pretty much start all over again. There's one extra thing that each of the players can do, and that's to sell those end game scoring cards for $5 each. So if there is something that you drew at the start of the game which you are totally sure you will not be able to achieve it, you can as well cash it in for $5 more. But in most cases, it's definitely beneficial to hold on to those cards and yeah, maximize your victory points out of this. So if you're interested in seeing phase 2, let me know and I will play it through. If not, then maybe I will do another short one where I do the final scoring or whatnot. But I think, to be honest, I prefer to play to the bitter end. But this is something that I will do in my next video. So I really hope you enjoyed my little playthrough of Lift Off so far. Hope to see you soon in one of my other videos. And yeah, until then, bye bye.